If I did do it, there would have been nothing wrong. That was my business. So he's lying very simply to get a reduced sentence, okay?
BuzzFeed News is reporting that President Trump's former lawyer and fixer Michael Cohen has admitted to Robert Mueller's team that the president told him to lie about deliberations over a Trump Tower Moscow project when Cohen testified to Congress. This would be hugely significant because it would implicate the president in a crime. Telling somebody to commit perjury is a crime.
So if there was some reason to believe that the president tried to coach somebody not to testify or testify falsely, that could be obstruction of justice.
Yes, under that, yeah, under an obstruction statute, yes.
So if there's some evidence that the president tried to conceal evidence, that would be obstruction of justice potentially, right?
Right.
The BuzzFeed report is also significant because it suggests that Mueller's team had previous evidence that President Trump had been involved in this lie before confronting Michael Cohen with it. If that evidence is compelling, if the story is true, it might be the most damning thing for President Trump to date. There are some important caveats here. The first is that this is based upon two anonymous federal law enforcement sources. It's also worth noting that Michael Cohen and his legal team have not confirmed this story, even though they have confirmed other things in the past. And the third is that we don't know exactly what the evidence that Mueller's team has, independent of Michael Cohen's contention, to prove that the president, in fact, instructed him to lie. Justice Department guidelines indicate that a sitting president cannot be indicted, which means that this is very likely to come down to whether Congress impeaches the president and removes him from office. In order to be removed from office, you need the votes of 67 senators, 2/3 of the entire chamber. That means lots of Republicans need to be prepared to take that step. Making that case based upon circumstantial evidence about obstruction of justice or collusion, which are very nebulous and undefined terms, if we were to have demonstrated proof of the president, what's known as suborning perjury, that would be much more difficult for Republicans to explain away. It would be much more difficult for them to vote against removing the president from office.